Hello everyone, Carousel here, back with another EDH guide. Before we get into anything, please leave a like and subscribe. And also, link in the description uh, will lead you to Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation for Childhood Cancer. If you wish to help out and fight against childhood cancer, join Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation for Childhood Cancer at the Million Mile 2022. There'll be more information on donations, ways to give, get involved, about ASLF, childhood cancer, where the money goes, special events, and more. As you can see on the website, once you get to it, you just use the link and you'll be there in no time and you'll be able to help out others. So share this video along with other videos found on our channel, especially this one, so this can get out to people and they can get the link and help others out. We only have 3 days left before the Million Mile 2022 ends, but that doesn't mean you can't still help Alex's Lemonade Stand for Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation for Childhood Cancer to fight against childhood cancer. And hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another one of my videos. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. Want to keep that subscriber count going up. Thank you to 74 of you who are currently subscribed. Let's keep that going. And comment, if you want to, make an EDH request. So like Ramos Enchantments, for example, even though Ramos may have already been featured on this channel, Ramos Enchantments specifically has not. So you can make that EDH request, or like a request for a standard deck or other content that is related to MGG, like MGG Arena. Just let me know. And even if you aren't, if you don't want to make a request, comment anyways. I like the positive feedback from you guys, so keep that going as well. With that all out of the way, let's get into this commander video. Trazyn, the Infinite, probably one of the craziest mono black commanders I have encountered. Because this creature has all activated abilities, so all artifact cards in your graveyard as long as it's on the battlefield. Which you can do some busted stuff with this thing, and that's what we're going to get into immediately, such as Divine Raw's Disc. This is literally, you play this and then board wipe. Thran Temporal Gateway. You have Thran in your graveyard. Guess what? Trazyn can now cheat out historic permanents, and that includes more artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So you can get out more stuff. Or Hell Vault. Now, this Hell Vault is interesting because if you have it in your graveyard, Trazyn here has the ability to exile creatures you don't control. And when Hell Vault is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return all cards exiled with it to the battlefield under their owner's control. But what happens if we use Hell Vault's ability to exile target creature we don't control, while Hell Vault is in our graveyard with our commander? Do our opponents get their creatures back, or do they not? Because this is not Hell Vault, this is Trazyn the Infinite. So I'm going to think about. Also, Citadel. We are able, with this, our commander will be able to tap and we'd be able to sacrifice 10 land permanents and have each opponent lose 10 life. Doubling cube, we can double up on our mana and go crazier. Paradox Engine, we don't want this in our graveyard, we want it on our battlefield because most of our artifact abilities involve tapping them. So Paradox Engine, we're able to go crazy within a turn. Goldotha Forge Master gets artifact cards into our graveyard to activate its ability. And its activated ability searches our library for an artifact card, allows us to search our library for an artifact card and put it onto the battlefield. So we get something like Steel Hellkite, which has 2 activated abilities, one to buff itself up, and the other can destroy stuff. Clock of Omens allows our commander to use gives our commander the ability to untap itself because we just have to tap two untapped artifacts we control, and then we untap target artifact. And Clock of Omens will have this ability. So we have Clock of Omens in our graveyard and Trazyn the Infinite on our battlefield and 2 other artifacts. We tap them for like an effect, and then using the ability of Clock of Omens in our graveyard, we just simply untap Trazyn the Infinite. Here's something crazy: Staff of Domination. Untap Staff of Domination for 1. For 2, tap. You gain 1 life. 3, tap. Untap target creature. 4, tap. Tap target creature. 5, tap. Tap. 5, tap. Draw a card. If this is in our graveyard, this means for 1 generic, Trazyn can just straight up untap himself, which means we would be able to activate something like Planar Bridge, and search for a permanent card and put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle up our library. Or Cogwork Assembler. Well, Cogwork Assembler doesn't need to tap, but now we've got like tokens and stuff. Druidic Satchel can get us lands, creature tokens, and gain us life. Necron Overlord can make our opponents lose life. Time Vault is just straight up broken because Time Vault enters battlefield tapped, doesn't untap during your untap step. And if you begin your turn while Time Vault is tapped, you may skip that turn instead. If you do, you may skip that turn instead. If you do, untap Time Vault. Tap. Take an extra turn after this one. This is too generic. We have this in our graveyard. These lines of text do not apply to Trazyn. The only line of text is the activated ability, where we just tap to take an extra turn after this one. Yes, that means infinite turns, which is broken. 1,000-Year Elixir. This is nice on the battlefield, but can also untap something if it's just in our graveyard. We can use Trazyn. Honored Heirloom as graveyard hate and maybe some mana. Lithoform Engine, highly recommended in this deck. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose targets as the copy. That can be 2 more turn triggers from Time Vault in our graveyard. Or that could be 2 Necron Overlord triggers suddenly. We can copy instants and sorceries, but we can also copy permanent spells. And if this is in our graveyard, Trazyn the Infinite gets those properties. So we'd be able to double up on activated abilities of Trazyn himself if we're able to untap him simultaneously. And we could copy other stuff. Illusionist Bracers, we want this on our battlefield because it doubles up on our activated abilities. Same thing with Rings of Bright Earth. Sundial of the Infinite can just straight up end a turn, which could actually save us in some cases. Oracle's Vault. It's pretty interesting. Excuse me. With the Oracle's Vault, we can tap it to it, and we can use generic to tap it and exile the top card of our library and be able to play that card and put a break counter on Oracle's Vault. And we can also tap it, exile the top card of our library, and we can play that card without paying its mana cost. But we only activate this ability only if there are 3 more counters, break counters on Oracle's Vault. We have Oracle's Vault in our graveyard. Trazyn the Infinite will also have those activated abilities. Colossus of Akros, Monstrosity 10 for 10 generic. I don't think I need to say much more. Mirage Mirror can literally copy anything on the board. Need I go on? Chaos Wand allows us to mess with our opponent's instants and sorceries. And if this is in our graveyard, we can do it with our commander too. Soul of New Phyrexia gives us the ability to give our opponents the indestructible keyword until end of turn. Walking Bliss allows us to deal direct damage and put +1/+1 counters on our commander. Empowered Auto Generator adds an increasing amount of mana over the turns as we get more and more charge counters. Power Conduit can put charge counters on target artifact and remove. In order to do that, we have to remove the counter from the current we control. And we can also put pulse counters on target creature. Gemstone Array. We can remove charge counters from mana and put charge counters on it. Shadow Spear is in here to be able to take away Hexproof and Indestructible from permanents our opponents control. Pendant of Prosperity is interesting because as soon as this hits our graveyard, now for 2 generic, we draw a card, and then we put a, and then for 2 generic, we draw a card, then we put a land card from our hand onto the battlefield. Then Pendant of Prosperity's owner, which is us, draws a card, and then that player may put a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. So with one activation of this, off of Trazyn the Infinite, and with because we want Pendant of Prosperity in our graveyard, we could draw 2 cards and put 2 land cards from our hand onto the battlefield because of how this card works, and how it would also work with our commander if it was in the graveyard. Throne of Death can be used to put artifact cards into our graveyard and proliferate at the same time. So add more and more charge counters, plus the counters, great counters, you name it. Mirror Turbine can create tokens and search for a mirror creature card, but we're not really about that. Undersea Scrounger can create treasure tokens. Hangerback Walker can put plus counters on itself. Chamber Sentry for more damage. Conversion Chamber can make us 3/3s and is a source of graveyard hate for artifacts. Metal Worker for more mana. Goblin Charbelcher for more damage. Jorah's Toolbox for the regenerate ability. Trading Post for a whole variety of things, discarding cards and gaining life, so filling up a graveyard and keeping ourselves alive. Creating tokens by paying life. Sacrificing creatures to return target artifact card from our graveyard to our hand. We want our artifacts to stay in our graveyard, but if we have to, then we have to. Like if we want something back, like Paradox Engine. And then we can also sacrifice artifacts to draw cards, which is also nice. Card Clan Ironworks allows us to sacrifice artifacts, so get them into our graveyard, and add mana in the process, so we're able to play more artifacts and sacrifice those as well. And once Card Clan Ironworks hits our graveyard, our commander will have that activated ability as well. Brenner's Cart allows our commander to sacrifice itself for 3 generic and search for up to 2 basic land cards if we were to need it. Glasscast Heart, create more tokens, and could eventually make each opponent lose 13 life, and then we would gain 13. If we were to have the blood tokens, well, we can just have Glasscast Heart creating tokens for us. Crystalline Crawler can remove counters from itself, can remove plus counters from itself to add mana. So with this in our graveyard, our commander would be able to do the same thing, not to mention it can tap to put a plus counter on itself, and our commander would do the same thing. Urachi Hatchery. As we get more and more charge counters on our commander, guess what? Since it copies Urachi Hatchery's ability, it's going to be able to make us that many more green 1/1 snakes when we tap it for 5 generic mana. Keening Stone can mill Yazlith to keep counters, so that our commander, as soon as we play it, we get all those counters back. Treasure Vault, because it's an artifact land, so we'll be able to create a whole bunch of treasures. Adventure's Fair can get us an artifact and gain us life, help us stay around the game. Fair Access Court can sacrifice artifacts so we can stay around the game. Cabal Coffers and Cabal Stronghold because we're mono black. And the rest of the lands are swamps. And with that said, that is the end of this EDH guide starring Trazyn the Infinite. Probably one of the most overpowered commanders I've seen, just because of something like Time Vault alone being time vault alone, I mean, that's literally infinite turns right there. Because, like I said, Trazyn the Infinite does not like retain all the text of all the artifact cards in our graveyard, only the activated abilities. So it does not copy all of this. The only thing it keeps is this, the tap part, the part where you tap to take an extra turn after this one, which means you don't have, which means this could basically be time vault but infinite, which is very broken. With that said, please leave a like and subscribe. Keep the subscriber count going up. Comment on this video, make an EDH request. For example, Ramos enchantments, as I said in this video. Even though it may have already been featured, even though Ramos himself or itself has already been featured on the channel, I think. Pretty sure it has. Even though it's already been featured on the channel, Ramos enchantments specifically has not been featured on this channel. You could also make like Ramos dragons, or something like that. Or like you can make a request for like a standard deck, or or like MGG Arena content. Even if you don't want to, you can still comment. I like positive feedback from you guys. Keep that going. Excuse me. And share this video along with other videos found on my channel, especially this one, so people can help donate to a good cause or contribute to a good cause. ASLF, Alex's Lemonade Stand for Childhood Foundation for Childhood Cancer. Help them fight against childhood cancer. Even though the Million Mile 2022 will be ending within like 3 days or so, you can still help in other ways. This is something they have going. So help out if you wouldn't mind. This is for children. We're fighting against childhood cancer. We want that to stop. We want that battle to end, and we want it to end with childhood cancer being no more. So help contribute. Hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another one of my videos. With that said, I think that's it. Leave a like and subscribe. See ya.